And now, from Pasadena, it's CCN Sunrise with Sunita Joshua Madison, Paulo Alejandria, the Crown City News Team, and the CCN Sunrise segment stars. It's time to wake up San Gabriel Valley with CCN Sunrise.
Good morning, everybody. We've got a fun show for you to get you moving this morning with CCN Sunrise. We'll see if your marriage material and a British accent might help you find Mr. or Miss Right. I'm Sunita Joshua Madison.
And I'm Loa Blasucci. You usually see me on the other side of the desk with your fitness, beauty segments. I'm so happy to be here, Sunita. I really am.
I love you here. I wanted to ask
Thank you.
You know, holidays are coming around the corner. I have not taken my picture for the holiday card. Do you usually take a picture and do those type of fun cards? Or?
Oh, I'm circling back. I haven't done them for a few years, so this year I'm going hard. They're all handmade this year.
Oh my gosh, wow,
So,
you're going all out.
I know. Go big or go home, Sunita. Can I just do this? Okay, my life is complete. I've always wanted
They're
to do
all
that
stacked
on a news
together.
show. Was that awesome? Thank you.
Not everyone
Thank you.
can.
Did I look good?
Not everyone can go ahead and do the handmade cards like you're doing, going all out.
Right.
We have a sponsor, Rafi at Color Dots. Look at these beautiful posters that they put together. And so a lot of the the cards that you have made, you can just go right to Color Dots and do them. The quality is so much better. It's just beautiful.
And you save yourself a lot of
I know.
craziness.
How much time are you taking?
I plan on going out of my mind. It's just
like,
one of those
is it
things
just you, or is this like a family affair?
No, it's just me. It's nuts. I'm nuts. I'm going to do it, but we'll see. So if you get one, just know it's.
I will get one, right? I mean, come on, you just put it out there.
One. And it's a labor of love.
I just love these pens from Rafi too, because they have a little nub, I guess, at the end, and it's perfect for the iPad and like any of those devices.
And you're so color coordinated right now. You're fabulous.
Well, I matched with you.
Thank you. Yes.
But he has all these different things that you can do for your businesses. These pens feel really good too.
I need to have that.
Absolutely.
That's beautiful.
Pasadena City College. So like different brochures. This is a card that they made.
I'm all over that.
And it just is easy. But your handmade card, I mean.
Yeah, well.
I mean, are you putting ribbons on
or? Everything. But at this point, they may end up crayon on construction paper. We'll see.
Well, I'll love that too when you send it to me.
Okay, thanks.
All right, well, now up for the news.
And now, CCN, Crown City News. Your news, your neighborhood starts right now.
Here's a look at some of the headlines making news right here in the San Gabriel Valley. Pasadena police are asking for your help in finding more information in the officer-involved shooting that happened during a traffic stop Sunday, November 16th. Police say it happened around 3:15 in the morning. Officers had pulled over a dark-colored SUV at Estado Street and Avocado Lane when the male driver, whom they say was armed, sped away, nearly running over one of the officers. Police fired at the vehicle and at first weren't sure if the suspect had been hit. They chased the SUV for a short distance before losing it near Sierra Madre Boulevard and the 210 freeway. Then later the same afternoon, Pasadena police, with the help of the Southwest Regional Pacific Fugitive Task Force, found the two people who they say were in the SUV in a Van Nuys parking lot and arrested them. Police say the two suspects are 32-year-old Sanjay Varma, an Indian male from Pasadena who they say belongs to a gang, and 22-year-old Crystal Orleans, a Filipino woman from Moreno Valley. Both were charged with assault with a deadly weapon against a police officer, and they're in the Pasadena City Jail on $50,000 bail. Investigators ask anyone with information on the case to call the Pasadena Police Department at 626-744-4241 or to report information anonymously at crimestoppers.com.
I love how the organizations work together and found them. That's awesome. I love that.
Absolutely. Well, it's Movember, when men across the country use their facial hair to bring awareness to men's health issues, including prostate cancer. Here locally, Pasadena firefighters at Fire Station 31 have been growing their mustaches for the month and got their stashes trimmed up neatly to bring attention to one of the #1 killers of firefighters in particular. Station 31 firefighters talked about why this issue is so important to them.
We're just making other firefighters aware, and men in general aware of those diseases. And with that, just being aware and how to prevent from getting it. For instance, for us, it would be for going in a fire, we're going to make sure we clean all our equipment and take a shower when we return back to the station, so we're not getting all those toxins in our skin, because that's a major absorption is through the skin, and we're getting cancer, and it's at a high rate right now. So for me, that's a big deal, because I am a survivor of cancer, and I don't want my brothers here to go through that.
And anytime you see anybody at the firehouse and you see a mustache, we would love just to show a little support and give us a thumbs up and say that you know what Movember represents.
Ready?
All right, here we go.
Down.
Let's do it.
One. Down. Two. Down. Three. Down. Four. Down. Five. No, six. 7. 8.
Usually they meet in exotic places like Nice and Paris. Actually, I'm going to go back to the last story, because we did want to talk about Tony Mead, who you saw doing push-ups there. Along with growing their handlebars, the firefighters also brought awareness to their cause by challenging local reporters to a push-up contest. And even with a bum shoulder, our Tony Mead was up for that challenge. So I definitely wanted to make note of her doing those push-ups and tell you why she was doing them. Well, our next story, usually they meet in exotic places like Nice and Paris. Now add Pasadena to the list. The Committee on Space Research, or COSPAR, is headed to the Crown City in 2018. City of Pasadena officials and members of COSPAR made the announcement this past week at the Pasadena Convention Center. The National Academy of Sciences, JPL, and Caltech invited COSPAR to hold its annual summit right here July 14th through the 22nd in 2018. COSPAR began in 1958, right after the Soviet Union became the first to launch into space. The committee's main mission is to provide a forum that allows all scientists to discuss problems affecting space research.
This event, the COSPAR conference in 2018, is a perfect fit for Pasadena, because it is built upon our strengths in science and technology and engineering.
That's it for the news in this half hour. We'll have more for you coming up in the next half hour. And now for the Morning Buzz. Local activist Kevin Lynn joins us up. First up, we're going to do the immigration debate with President Obama making a major speech about using his executive powers to move amnesty forward for millions of immigrants here illegally. You know, I just don't understand. Well, I always say I don't understand, but I do understand. The fact of the matter is that Congress has not acted on this, and at some point something has to be done. You know, I want to do a drinking game, basically, because I want to see how many times the Republicans are going to call him an emperor, call him a dictator, all this stuff, but never really provide a solution or an answer. I don't understand.
Right, and the GOP has the power to put the big kibosh on the whole thing, so.
It could. Well, the thing to remember about executive orders is every president since Washington has invoked their right to use an executive order. And in all that time, only 2, one under Harry Truman and one under Bill Clinton, have been reversed by the Supreme Court. So I don't think it's really a legal issue. I don't think that can be challenged. He does have that ability and that power to do something, so long as he's not actually making a law, but he's trying to refine a law or do something.
It's happened before with Reagan.
It's happened before. In 1986, it was an addendum to the 86 amnesty. Technically, I thought it was a wonderful speech.
What did you think about the 3 points that he listed?
Getting away from the 3 points, let's look at it conceptually. You've mentioned nothing's being done. And I think the reason nothing is being done is when you look at the immigration debate that has gone on in this country since the early 1900s, you really find yourself looking at 2 forces that control it: the chambers of commerce and the ethnic lobbies. In 1924, people like Samuel Gompers, the founder of the AFL-CIO, and the populists forced Congress to restrict immigration because they knew the impacts that it was having on wages of working people. And as a result, up until 1968, when immigrants came to the country, it was a good time for immigrants.
Yeah, Kevin, I just want to point to the fact, like you're saying, this has been a long history. Nothing's being done. And at some point, just like with healthcare, we can keep saying that it's a broken system, but at some point something has to be done, and that's what he's stepping up to do. We'll see if, how this deadlocks the Congress going forward with, zero appointments and all of that.
I hope it doesn't deadlock the Congress. I really do. I don't think, no one wins when that happens.
No one wins. Speaking of no one winning, the unraveling of icon and and comic genius Bill Cosby. He's faced allegations of rape for years, but now people are finally unable to ignore the number of women who have come forward to bring down America's dad. You know, I'm going to be honest. It took me the longest time to read any of the stories. You know, even the started with the comedian making jokes about him being a rapist in his stand-up. I couldn't read any of it at the beginning until
he's
finally.
so loved and revered.
I know.
Right?
I just didn't want to hear it, but after a while, you can't ignore it.
Right.
It's right there. There's, comedian Chris Rock had said with Michael Jackson, and I don't know what my thought is on the Michael Jackson case, but we like Michael Jackson so much, we let the first kid go. And we like Bill Cosby so much, we let the first 12 go, you know?
Right.
Like,
now
how
15.
many more?
What do you do with 15 women? But you know, the comedy routine he did in 1969, it's bone-chilling. When you listen to that, he's making a joke about Spanish flies. Oh my goodness!
Tell us about it.
It's creepy. It's blowing up on Facebook. It's everywhere. But it's Bill Cosby, and it's a comedy routine that he did years ago in 1969, like I said. And he's talking about the Spanish fly and how it's the coolest thing for a kid
and
to get a hold of.
And the drugging, basically.
Yeah,
you know?
and he makes a joke of it. And then in the end, the punchline to the whole thing is that his show, I Spy at the time, is getting sent on location, and they say, well, where are you going? And he says, Spain, ha, 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 and that's the whole thing, and you're just going, ooh and ooh, right?
Yeah, I think that was more socially acceptable then, obviously. It's not now. I think when you look at this, what a public relations disaster. I mean, who's coaching this guy?
Right.
Speak up.
I know,
Right.
really. If you have these allegations, deal with them.
Yeah,
Don't
he's
let
no
this
commented
fester.
his way to, hey, guess what? It's all here now.
No
Right.
commenting, and then challenging these journalists of their integrity for even asking the question.
Which is the role of journalism in America. I mean, it is the fourth estate.
I want to sue
Yeah.
for my childhood back, basically. I mean, they're taking, Cosby Show off TV Land. You know, we used to talk about that being one of the best shows, and I can't do that
Right,
to
and
my kids.
NBC is
I
cut him
want
off
my
from his
money
new-
back.
Yeah, his new comedy series is gone now, so yeah, NBC yanked that away. But you know, you can't argue with these women. Carla Ferrigno, that's Lou's wife, and 15 women, the nurse in Florida.
Too many,
and,
basically.
Janice
Kevin,
Dickinson. And
we want to thank you so much for being here. We're going to have you back for the second Morning Buzz, so
Fantastic.
don't go away.
Well, I'm
Just
looking
grab a
forward
coffee.
to it, ladies. Thank
All
you.
right, we'll see you soon. And most dating couples avoid the M word like the plague.
But a new dating site isn't shy about letting people know you're only looking for marriage material. All others need not apply. What? Oh, that's...
Dad's home!
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Get ready to see the mayor like you've never seen him before. Pasadena Mayor Bill Bogart is planning to hit the court in January for the Ideal Youth City of Pasadena NBA experience with the Clippers. Preparations are underway as the mayor trains for a big free throw contest the night of the event. Local journalists, including our own Sunita Joshua Madison, yay, high five, and Tony Mead played a part in the mayor's Rocky-like training session. He showed off his basketball skills and a variety of looks during the taping, including a New Year's Eve party gear, which, okay, it was beautiful. Wishing everyone a Happy New Year on tape. The word on the street is he's challenging a major basketball figure to a free throw contest. Yeah, I'll see if I'm up to that challenge in a few weeks. Just kidding. Either way, as he trains, the mayor will show us his acting chops on the video when the NBA experience happens Saturday, January 10th at Staples Center.
Speaking of actors, our cameraman Dino Baptiste has been taking a British dialect class at a Noise Within theater working on his accent. Let's listen in on how Mr. Shakespeare and his fellow actors are in the class.
And the next evening, she's Imogen. I've seen her. Imogen.
Yes. And, as we started, put the D in the end of Rosalind.
Rosalind.
Duh.
Duh.
Yeah, you really have to say Rosalind.
And now I don't know my next line because I've managed to fall into this place in my head.
Start again. Try that.
Okay.
Could you get me a cup of tea?
My dear, would you be a perfect dear and get me a cup of tea? I don't think I could drag my poor old bones as far as the count.
Ordinary women never appeals to one's imagination. No glamour ever transfigures them. One knows their minds as easily as one knows their bonnets. One can always find them. They ride in the park in the morning, and they chatter at tea parties in the afternoon.
So Dino, would you like some tea and crumpets with that?
Hey, I would love that. It's kind of early in the morning. I can use that right now.
So is this do you want to do a lot of Shakespeare? Is this how you started taking
Yes, this is the beginning, and I would love to do some Shakespeare. I'm looking forward to taking some more classes in the spring, and it's something that I've always wanted to do. I've been curious for a long time about the whole Shakespearean and real theater. So
real theater.
Exactly.
It looks
I'm
good
excited
on you, Dino.
about it.
Are you getting comfortable with it? Can you?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Let's hear it.
Well, it's kind of early in the morning for me to have a British accent, but I'll try. Working with the best news crew in Pasadena, I love it. I'm confident that. Is it Australia?
Tomorrow. I can't even do an accent.
They tell me I'm going into an Australian accent.
All my accents are basically bad Indian accents. They're not even good Indian accents. I'll try Irish and it'll be a bad Indian accent.
Oh my goodness.
So you're doing a great job,
All right,
Dino.
Thank you. Thanks for the encouragement.
All right, dating in the new millennium is not your mama's kind of dating. Or is it? A dating website called Marriage Material, which successfully launched in New York and now rolling out in other major cities like Los Angeles, helps potential couples come right out and talk about the M word. And we have Dana Michelle, president and founder of Marriage Material, and Cheryl Aronson, marriage and family therapist, relationship expert, and author extraordinaire, here to talk about this. Absolutely. So why do you think other sites have more people who are not looking for marriage material or just into dating?
Well, I think it's kind of there's a hookup culture currently, right? And so people are signing up for the apps and they're just meeting based on their location. In a lot of cases, they're just settling, right? But this is a site for people who are really willing to put a stake in the ground and are looking for a committed relationship. And we find that, men are very clear when they're looking for marriage, but women tend to hesitate about putting it out there because they don't want to seem too aggressive. So we created a site where it's out in the open and it's for everyone, and they understand that they're looking for something more significant.
That takes a lot of trust to put that into a business to say, find me my spouse. I mean, dating sites are everywhere, but that's right. How do you get their trust?
Also we brought on Cheryl, who's a relationship expert, and we will create workshops and seminars, and you can speak to that.
Because what I have found in my work, and I've been a psychotherapist for 25 years, people do not have the skills. People are not educated about having a relationship. Right. People think, we fall in love, it's going to work. No, it does not.
I've been married 15 years.
It's
hard
really
to get it out.
difficult.
So we want to set people up for success, whether you are dating and looking for something significant, or you find someone and help them navigate those challenging waters.
Are there guaranteed steps you should take and you will find someone?
Are there guaranteed steps?
Yeah.
Well, there's never 100% guaranteed.
I have a friend who's given up. She's done all the
Never give up. Never give up.
Is it all about the numbers, or do you have to do specific things to make it work for you?
Well, there's a couple things. First thing is you need to date someone who's on the same page as you, right?
Yes.
So if you're looking for a committed relationship and the person wants to keep it casual, then clearly that person's not marriage material.
Cross purposes from the
Exactly, but we do it on a regular basis. So you have to keep that in mind. And then you have to figure out what your must-haves and your nice-to-haves are, and they're not always the same. Mm-hmm. I know in my 20s I had a certain list, and now that I'm older, the list is not exactly the same. Exactly.
Now he can be 6'2".
Yes, exactly. And then there's your deal breakers, and you need to be true to that, right? You need to be true to yourself, because at your core, you you know what you're looking for or what you can't deal with. And so I recommend that everyone, nice to haves, must haves, and deal breakers.
But you have to understand something. Okay, so I find someone I want to marry. Now, how do I keep that marriage alive, healthy?
And happy.
And happy. And I'm telling you, it is so hard. So again, it's about education. It's about skill development, that we really need to have that.
And are you finding people, though, that, is there a big resurgence back into marriage? Because I know with the divorce rate, most people were like, I don't need the paper, we can be in a committed relationship.
It's kind of cyclical, right? So, what's old is new again, and so marriage is now at the forefront of people's minds. But I also think the movement for the LGBT community and people having seen that they're fighting for their rights has allowed people to kind of take a step back and kind of realize that marriage is important, it's different, and it means something, and it's
now
significant.
Brangelina did it, so we should all do it, right?
And it's interesting. Why did they do it after living together for so many years? It's because it means something. It's significant. When you get married, people say, yes, it does change things, but it can change things for the better.
As a matter of fact, she's in Vanity Fair this month, and she says they've been together 9 years, but it's different now that they've made that commitment.
It's much better.
I will say for me, day one of marriage, all of a sudden, first you're like planning for the next month or, now all of a sudden we were planning the next 5 years, 10 years.
But here's how we're going to be different than any other, because now we're going to have a therapist, we're going to have seminars and skills.
You're going to help us out and handhold. Thank you so much for being here. This is a great site, and LA really needs it, doesn't it, Lola?
Yes. Dating has changed.
Absolutely.
Back in the day, it was, hey, you want to go get an ice cream? Now it's like, have you been to Paris? It's all very different.
Let's go to Paris.
Yes, let's do. Coming up next, so many things to do around town during the holiday season. Pasadena has so many.
You gotta love it. Valerie Milano will highlight some of the big events you can check out in the CCN Sunrise Entertainment Report.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy and giving up impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought and unconventional methods common. I'm a teacher. I make more.
If you're looking for cultural events around town, there are plenty of them.
CCN Sunrise Entertainment segment star Valerie Milano is here to highlight some of the major events going on around town.
Sanita. That's right. With the holidays right around the corner, there's so much to see and do. The Pasadena Playhouse will be presenting the critically acclaimed GLAAD Media Award winner for the best New York production, Stop Kiss. It was originally produced off-Broadway at the Public Theater and starred Sandra Oh and Jessica Hecht. The play tells the story of Sarah and Callie, who are walking through New York City's West Village late at night when they share their first kiss. This leads to a vicious attack by an angry bystander in which Sarah is horribly injured. Throughout Stop Kiss, relationships are explored, formed, and even ended. Stop Kiss opens Sunday, November 30th at 2 p.m. If you're looking for a play for the whole family this holiday season, you might want to look to the hills tucked against the San Gabriel mountain range and the picturesque town of Sierra Madre as a little jewel called the Sierra Madre Playhouse, which will present James DeVita's theatrical adaptation of A Little House Christmas, directed by Emily Chase. It's based on the popular Little House on the Prairie book series by Laura Ingalls Wilder and In a Little House Christmas. The Ingalls family has moved from their big woods to their little house on the prairie in Kansas. The family of pioneers is looking forward to coming to Christmas holiday. I won't tell you anymore. You'll have to experience the play for yourself. The show runs Friday, November 28th through Tuesday, December 23rd. You can find more info about it at thesierramadrehouse.org. Maz Jobrani will bring his special brand of comedy to the Ice House Comedy Club Sunday, November 30th. The Iranian-born comedian is founding member of the Axis of Evil comedy tour, which aired on Comedy Central in 2007. He has 2 Showtime comedy specials. One is I Come in Peace, and also Brown and Friendly. Maz adds many acting roles to his resume, both on television and on film as well. He has performed stand-up comedy on stages all over the world, including a performance in the Middle East for the King of Jordan. Many more entertainment stories on crowncitynews.com and my website, thehollywoodtimes.net. As always, don't forget the. Loa and Sanita.
Oh, thanks, Valerie. I cannot wait to take my son to the Little House on Prairie thing because I've been reading the children's book series with him. I can't wait to graduate to the real books.
Sweet.
That's going to be a great play.
I know, I'm going to.
Do you watch the shows too?
Yes, yeah, I do. I love them.
All right. Well, coming up in our second half hour, the city of Pasadena announced a new fire chief to replace retiring chief Calvin Wells.
We'll talk with Fire Department spokesperson Lisa Derderian about the announcement and also what you need to do to build your own emergency kit. Up next.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit. Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just please, don't leave. Okay. But remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
I've got a job to do today.
I've got a job to do today.
Have a good first day at work, Mom.
Your donations to Goodwill fund job training programs right into your community.
Feels good to start fresh, right?
Sure does. And like that, you're a job creator.
And now, from Pasadena, it's CCN Sunrise with Sanita Joshua Madison, Paulo Alejandria, the Crown City News team, and the CCN Sunrise segment stars. It's time to wake up San Gabriel Valley with CCN Sunrise.
We're back with our second half hour of CCN Sunrise. Coming up, Pasadena Fire Department's Lisa Derderian is here to discuss the new fire chief, and she'll also show you everything you need to put together in your emergency kit. I'm Sanita Joshua Madison.
And I'm Loa Blasucci. Also, the Mad Chef Dave Matthews has a special guest from Cafe Amara in studio, and we're making delicious Venezuelan arepas. Don't know if I said that right, but I'm hungry and I'll eat it however you say
They're
it.
going to taste good. That's all we know,
Yeah,
right?
Right.
You know, Loa, I was looking at this article. They were talking about celebrities and how they'd met, and I thought the cutest thing with Carey Mulligan and Marcus Mumford, who I don't know if you're familiar with the group Mumford and
Of course,
Sons.
yeah.
Love them. But they were pen pals when they were kids, and basically it wasn't until they became celebrities and, you know, had their careers take off that they finally got back together.
And they must have gotten to know each other really well because they were only engaged for 5 months.
I know,
so.
they just knew.
Yeah.
I think that is the sweetest
romantic.
story.
Oh.
Did you ever have a pen pal?
Yes, I have one now.
You do?
I do. I have.
Is it a match made in heaven?
No, he's an art professor, and he travels the world doing art things, and it's awesome. We pen pal. It's amazing.
So now it's not with the pen; it's on computer.
Yes, that's the difference. But
coming
I'm
up.
still calling it pen pal because I like that.
It's very sweet.
I
It's
like
like
that
so
title.
old school. Yes. All right, and now the news.
And now, CCN, Crown City News. Your neighborhood starts right now.
Here's a look at some news headlines happening right here in the San Gabriel Valley. The San Gabriel Valley has a new airport. Well, kind of. Sunday, November 16th, officials renamed the El Monte Airport. It's now called the San Gabriel Valley Airport. Local dignitaries gathered for a ribbon-cutting event during the airport renaming ceremony. The airport holds more than 300 aircraft and many aviation businesses. The airport faced uncertainty in the past as the private owner had thought about selling it to a developer to turn the property into condos. The county bought it instead in 1969. The airport creates about 200 jobs and brings in nearly $8 million a year. LA County officials plan to invest more than $6 million in renovating the airport within the next 2 years. Can you imagine running a marathon down a mountain? Many visited the San Gabriel Valley recently to do just that. Runners looking to qualify for the Boston Marathon had a great opportunity to hit their personal best and take in the glory of the San Gabriel Mountains, taking a downhill course in the Ravel Canyon City Marathon and Half Marathon, November 15th. CCN's Tony Mead geared up in a GoPro camera for the race to bring us the gorgeous views of Crystal Lake and the foothills of Azusa. Tony tells us it was one of the most beautiful courses she's ever run, running above the clouds. But sadly, she didn't qualify for the Boston Marathon. Right around mile 23, she started to cramp up, which can be expected. If you got to 23 miles, you're doing pretty good. I probably would have taken a go-kart instead of a GoPro. That's just me, so good for you, Tony. Well, in the Morning Buzz, Kevin Lynn is back. And Ferguson, Missouri is on guard for potential riots as the nation waits on word if the officer involved in the shooting death of unarmed black teenager Michael Brown will be indicted. Even here in Pasadena, with the yet unreleased internal investigation report of the shooting of another unarmed black teenager, Kendrick McDade, Police Chief Sanchez addressed the City Council and urged residents to remain calm regardless of the news. Take a listen to what he said to the City Council.
As that final notice from the Ferguson grand jury comes out, I would ask us as a community that we not engage in violent discourse or in violent rallies or marches, but that we come together as a community, we recognize what the issues are, and then we try to address those issues in a calm, cool, and proactive manner.
You know, it's hard with this case because everyone's just waiting for something to happen, to something to erupt, and I'm hoping nothing happens. I mean, even if, no matter what the news is, I mean, we need to have a calm conversation about this, not an eruption.
Well, I don't know if these things can be calm. When you look at Ferguson, for instance, it's a city of only 21,000 people, of which 2/3 are black. And this is a group in our society that have really been passed over when you look at how they have been advancing economically or not advancing economically. There's some bigger issues. And I believe Ferguson is more emblematic of things going on across the country, where we've hollowed out our manufacturing base. So that ability to progress economically has been cut off from many people. But police are just reacting differently. I mean, the numbers are out that, you know, African American males for kind of similar crimes are being, you know, jailed more, arrested more, and shot more. And that happened here in the Kendrick McDade shooting. Obviously, there was a lot of confusion in that shooting with, a fraudulent call saying that the men were armed. Right, exactly.
But, you know, we don't know because the investigation isn't being released as to were the proper steps taken. I don't know.
I don't know if it's a question of proper steps taken. Again, we have a whole section of our, you know, a demographic in our country that really have been passed over. And there are things going on in that community that aren't being addressed. There's not the economic opportunities needed. So crime, I think, is certainly more prevalent, and it's also an opportunity for police departments. I mean, it's not like they're arresting people on Wall Street.
And it's the hardest job ever to be a cop. I wouldn't want to have to, you know, it all went down in a minute and a half, and it's a split call.
Right.
I mean,
we put them into that position. We create the social conditions. Our political system creates the social conditions.
Well, there's so much back and forth on this, and, you know, the officer in the video release, you know, he didn't look hurt, and that upset some people, but we don't know what the eyewitnesses, you know, that's been going back and forth. But also,
varying opinions there. They're all saying something different.
But I think transparency is very important, regardless of what happens. We need to
Absolutely.
be very transparent in the process.
We're going to move on to our next topic. Despite student protests, UC schools voted to increase tuition for the next 5 years at California universities. With many millennials who are having a hard time finding jobs already, this only highlights what many are already wondering. Is the cost of college worth it anymore?
And a lot of times it's not. I mean, my niece, for instance, when she was debating whether to go to community college or not, she ended up going to beautician school to learn a trade where she can go out and actually make money and not get into debt. You know, I think we've pushed college as the alternative everyone should be looking at, when we really should be looking at vocational training to get people the skills they need to be productive.
And there are a lot of ways you can get help and assistance to go to college. It is getting, I mean, despite the expense, there is a lot of help out there. More than people realize. And I think if you go in search of that, I have, my kids have been real creative about getting college funded and done some, you know, amazing things. So
you have to get creative around here.
Yeah.
That's
But
part of the
ultimately,
education.
it's a cost benefit.
Absolutely.
The cost of tuitions have been skyrocketing. However, the opportunities have been dwindling.
Absolutely.
So you've bought off on the dream and the propaganda that, oh, I'm going to go to college and have a good job. And when that doesn't materialize, what then?
What do you do?
And frankly, I think the biggest thing that's going to happen in this country is eventually all these holders of student loans are simply going to just stop paying them back.
Absolutely. We're going to talk really quickly about the Dugars, their 19 and counting show. You know, there was a big firestorm because they removed some pictures. They had said, everyone show pictures of you kissing, you know, your husband or wife. And then same-sex couples posted pictures of themselves kissing on their Facebook page, and they removed it. And it all went down. And, you know, people are asking, do you have the freedom of speech to, you know, be able to say what you want and not have your job, basically this is their job with their show, in jeopardy? For me, I'm like, you can have freedom of speech, but that doesn't give you freedom of a TV show.
I don't watch television, and I certainly don't watch the Duggars. I mean, I've caught bits and clips on YouTube, but to me, how irresponsible in this day and age, when we understand carbon footprints and the impact of population overshoot on the environment and everything else in the world.
You're wondering why 19?
Why 19? If they should be stricken from television, that's why.
Oh my gosh. Well, you know, I mean, we have a history of promoting families. I think that's a whole different story.
That's a tribe.
Do they get to choose what goes on their Facebook page? Is their Facebook page. So
They
if they
do
want
get
to
to
pull
choose.
pictures, if they didn't like it because they're in a blue shirt, they can take it down.
But
right?
TLC also gets to choose on if that's the message they want to get across to their
Precisely.
viewers.
And obviously 90,000 people don't like the fact that they took down those photographs. And if that's their audience and that's going to impact their sponsors, I believe in the free market. Let that decide.
Yep.
Well, I
And
know HGTV took out another show with the Benham brothers, and they're basically saying, you know, we're being bullied by, you know, we have gay friends, but we're being bullied by the gay agenda. So I don't.
Well, maybe turnaround's fair play, but I think, again, in this society, social media is so important. You're always, right now, you could, 20 years ago, you could be a little slack in your brand awareness and your brand building.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Well, Kevin, I want to thank you so much for being here and joining us on this conversation.
Ladies, this was a real pleasure.
Obviously, welcome
Thank you.
anytime.
Wonderful. I'd love to come back.
The snowstorms on the East Coast are a good reminder that we need to make sure our emergency kits are in order.
Lisa Derderian with the Pasadena Fire Department shows us everything you'll need for your kit, coming up next.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
What do you think it would be like to teach? Chances are, you have no idea.
Everybody look up.
Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places, and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable. That's what it's like to teach.
We've all been told to get our emergency kits and supplies ready. You never know when the big one could hit. But how many of us have actually put one together? I am so guilty. I'm so glad Lisa Derdarian with the Pasadena Fire Department is here with a step-by-step guide to show us everything we'll need. But first, the fire department is going through a transition with Chief Calvin Wells retiring. In fact, here's Chief Wells talking about the kind of fire department he's passing on.
We are revisiting our mission, our vision, and our values to make sure they're still in concert with what you, the community, needs. We will open up our doors to stakeholders, such as yourself, to get that information from you and begin to build the next strategic plan for year 2016 through 2020. So that's another exciting thing going on. We're also in the process, as a council member has indicated, of selecting a new fire chief. I will tell you that that person coming in will inherit an organization that is finally oiled and ready to go, and certainly in touch with this community. So I thank you as partners.
So Lisa, the new chief that's coming in, Bert Washington, what can you tell us about him, your new boss?
I just met him yesterday, very personable, articulate. He runs a very large department right now in Clark County. So we're looking forward to him coming to Pasadena. He manages large events, so he's very familiar. He has roots in Pasadena. So it'll be a great change.
Do you think there'll be any different vision or anything with the police or fire department?
Well, he's going to meet with the city manager, come up with the goals and objectives, really listen, learn before he makes any big moves, and really get to the grassroots of the department.
Smart guy. So tell us, I really wanted you here because I have not put a kit together, and part of what I wanted you to tell me was like, what do I need to have? How do I need to store it? Where do I need to store it? So let's get started with some of the
And I have one. I want to make sure I have the right stuff in it. I do.
I'm very proud of you. We'll talk. We'll talk later.
I don't have any of this stuff.
Well, we want everyone to have a backpack.
Like, what is this?
See, every member of your family should have a backpack.
Okay.
Because people store them in big bins, and if you're told you need to evacuate to try to move those, it's usually heavy.
I was wondering about that. I was like, should I have this big, like, you know, those rectangular rolling bins?
I mean, you can do that, but every member should have a backpack.
Okay, good.
In it, we want, well, next to your bed, first of all, I want you to have shoes. In one shoe, I want you to have gloves. The other shoe, I want you to have a flashlight. Because when we have an earthquake, with the power outages during the windstorms, people trip, they fell, have gloves.
So you need to have these kinds of heavy-duty gloves.
Correct.
Right by your shoes?
We'll put one in one shoe and a flashlight in the other. So when the shaking stops, you have your shoes next to you. You can get your flashlight and your gloves.
The heels aren't going to work.
No stilettos.
Only on television.
Right.
What else do you have in here?
Trash bag. I refer to it as a one flush theory. After a large earthquake, your plumbing may be good for one flush and you're done. You still need to do what you have to do, right? So you're going to have to line your toilets with a trash bag.
Oh, that's smart because everyone thinks, oh, I got to fill all these buckets up.
Correct.
I never even thought of that.
Buckets are good too, but this works.
Yeah, it's easier.
During the windstorms, it was very cold. I saw a gentleman walking around with a trash bag with the arms cut out with newspaper stuffed in it. It increases your body temperature. Plus, if you're told to evacuate, write on here on the trash bag ahead of time what you would bring with you so that you can stuff it with your items to evacuate.
There you go.
Yeah,
I might need more of those.
You're not thinking clearly. When you're running out the door, and a little quick list could be really helpful.
Right.
What else you got here?
We have meals ready to eat, or MREs, meals rejected by everyone, but these are more user-friendly these days. You can buy them.
What that was. Oh my
I
goodness.
do have those. I haven't put them
life.
in my backpack. But I mean, you know, is this something that you really need? Is it, or can you just get like trail mix bars or things like that? Do those work?
You can get peanut butter, granola. You have young kids, so you want to make sure you have items for them.
Ooh, this is good. Little
no
utility.
need for violence, but yeah,
you never know when.
Right.
That's
plus you got your gas, water shut off. You do not shut off your gas unless you smell it. That's why it has.
So this is for the gas water shut off.
Yes.
Okay.
Or if you need to break out of a window, I know it sounds funny, but homes, your bedroom door can jam. You may have to get out of a window if that's jammed too.
Okay, they're telling us to wrap it off, so let's go with some of the really important things. I see money here.
Cash.
Money.
Yes, your credit cards are not going to work.
Small bills.
Right, small bills, small denominations. Keep your cash in your freezer in a baggie because if you have a house fire, you won't lose your cash.
Just move it around for all the burglars who are looking.
Exactly. Here are my favorite items in here real quick.
Let's see the favorite.
Okay, maxi pads,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
The first aid kit.
Oh, batteries.
Small Band-Aid's not going to help you. This will help absorb the blood if you have large kids.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm sure my son will love that. All right, so all this, every person gets a backpack and they walk around with it.
Yes, you want to document. Take pictures.
I like it.
And another thing I was thinking is taking a map, an actual map, because your cell phone's not going to work. You
You're
might not
absolutely
know
right.
directions
Absolutely
and having
right.
to take alternate routes.
Right.
All right, well, this is great. I am going
You
to
didn't think all that would fit in there.
Look at all the stuff you're.
It's like Mary Poppins
It's a Mary
sings, I'm
Poppins,
coming
yeah.
out with
Where's
the lamp next.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you,
and I'm
thank you.
gonna.
This is
I'm
great.
Gonna
I'm gonna
follow
up to make sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, a couple of new ideas here for me. Thank you.
All right.
Certainly.
Well, now how to handle getting together for the holidays with an older parent or a family member.
Mary Winters has some tips in the Senior Solutions segment next.
I come from a big family. I'm the oldest of 6. To me, being the first person to go to college, it's like setting a standard, you know? My little brother is 8 years old now. I challenge his curiosity. I challenge him to dream. I have to paint a picture for him that he can look up to and live up to and possibly be better than. My name is Jaquez, and I am your dividend.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
The holidays are a great time to bring the family together.
But sometimes it's a real challenge mixing generations. In the Senior Solutions segment, Mary Winters joins us with tips on how to blend everyone together. And I love that because you don't want to leave Grandma sitting in the corner.
Oh, absolutely not. But maybe Grandma wants to be in the corner because she's a little overwhelmed with everything that's going on. So you have to kind of gauge what she really wants with what you think she wants.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So as we gather for the holidays, we'll be with aging parents and loved ones who we may not see on a regular basis. While these gatherings are often joyful, they can bring a hint of concern. It's really difficult to watch our parents and loved ones decline with age, especially when we always looked up to them. Sometimes a solution is as simple as hiring a housekeeper or having a caregiver come by for just a few days a week. They can support someone with the chores, go grocery shopping, or just help mom and dad with their personal care. Other signs can be more glaring, and safety can be an immediate issue to address for a loved one. So in order to get the support they need, it's important to take certain steps. First, get the right people involved. Family members and professionals may need to be part of this program. Then realize there's a role reversal in parenting your parent through some of these issues. Also, allow the senior to feel in control by offering options that guide your desired outcomes. So as a gerontologist, I'm often asked to come into the home setting and assess what's happening, how it can be managed, and what resources can be used for the situation. So everybody is glaring at the situation, they're frozen, and just looking at the elephant in the room. A third party who's trained in these issues can be very helpful in moving a plan of care forward for someone. So keep in mind, when you see your loved one, you want to look at how they appear. Have they lost weight? What is their hygiene like? Are things just not as important to them as far as managing their clothing? What does their checkbook look like if you can actually get to that point? These are things that are a little under the covers a little bit that you have to look around. Look at the house. Look at how the house is kept up. Is it changed a lot? Is there a lot of clutter, things that are not being taken care of? Also, a real big clue is look in the refrigerators. There are a lot of spoiled food or things that just would not meet their nutritional needs. Also, how about those pots and pans? Are they scorched? Items may be placed in very odd locations, things that like food doesn't belong in a closet. Laundering and clothing their items, maybe it's just become too big of a task for them and they're just not able to manage changing the sheets and so forth. So check those things out. It's really important to make sure and maybe they even need a little bit of transportation, or have some difficulty with just some of the things that they've lost as far as family members or friends. They become lonely, bored, isolated. It's awful when you feel a lack of control or loss of freedom too. So these are just a few of the tips or things that you should be looking at the holidays with your aging loved one. And if you think you want more information or you'd like to actually look at that in writing, please go to my website, aboutseniorsolutions.com, and check out some of those tips.
Coming up, the Mad Chef has a tasty surprise for us all, and I am so in the mood for this.
I know. He's got a chef, Amara from Cafe Amara, who's making us delicious Venezuelan arepas. Next on Taste of Sunrise. Mary, thanks for being here. Those were some great tips.
Hey, Hard, what's this? That's my resignation letter. You're resigning? Why? Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you eat stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit. I forgot. I'll do better. Please, don't quit on me. Okay. But remember, it's not what you say. It's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
I'm kind of excited right now. Next time you're craving a sandwich, you might want to grab an arepas.
Is that how it's pronounced?
Oh, yeah. Or you can say arepas, either one.
And that's a sandwich common in Venezuela, and that's where our next guest, Dana Amara, she joins the Mad Chef, Dave Matthews, to show us these gluten-free delights. I cannot wait.
Well, you're going on the journey today, so let's take it away. Take us.
Thank you. Yes, so we have arepas today. Arepa is our Venezuelan bread. The beauty about it, it's gluten-free because it's made of white corn, and it's very easy to make. I get a lot of mamas wanting to have an alternative to bread for kids.
Right,
and this is something so easy that you guys are gonna make it and enjoy them. And basically we can stuff them for either breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
Okay,
Ooh,
so
she's ready.
first we're gonna use the
Harina pan.
So harina pan, and where is the best place to buy this?
This you can find in any Latino market. It's really easy to find. Just make sure it's a white corn
So this one says 100%.
Exactly.
And all the brands are good? I mean,
I would prefer this one just because it works best.
Okay.
And
Why
it's
not
very
yellow
cheap.
corn?
Well, the yellow corn behaves a little different when you mix it with water. Sometimes you gotta add like some, how to say it, like oil and things like that, so it works. So in this case, we're just gonna use water, a little salt, and the dough. So it's that easy.
Easy.
And it's super cheap.
Okay,
so it's in here now?
That's in there.
Yeah,
that's 2
that's
cups.
in there.
2 cups?
2 cups
Yeah,
of
we have 2 cups,
flour.
and we're gonna use almost the same proportion of water. I suggest to use warm water just because it's gonna help the dough be a little more like softer.
And what's amazing about this dough is it's gluten-free.
Correct.
So that's what people need to realize. If you've got any allergies, this is the perfect
So warm
flour
and
to
not
use.
hot water.
Correct.
Warm.
Okay.
So we're gonna start with the flour over here, and I'm gonna start adding the water.
Slowly.
And then, so you're gonna
Am I
put your
kneading?
hands. Yes.
Yes,
Time to
okay.
get messy. So we wanna add the water to the dough.
And it's equal parts, right? You said
Correct.
the same
Equal
amount?
parts.
Okay.
And then we're gonna save just like half cup of water. Okay, so she's working
Ooh,
it
Sunita,
there.
that
Is it
looks
like, can you
fun.
overwork it? Am I?
Yeah, no,
it's mom good?
You're perfect. Well, the good thing
then
is,
let's add
as
some-
this doesn't contain any gluten, what you just want to make sure. There you go.
I'll do the fancy
sneaking in
salt.
over
I'll do the
here.
fancy salt
This
today.
came out of nowhere.
I want one of those.
Best
I
thing
saw that at
ever.
Williams Sonoma. I'm like, I have to own
That's
that.
where I got it.
Very cool.
So how like, I mean, like, how much water do you add? Like,
Well,
can you
so-
add it too fast?
No, it doesn't matter.
little
I would
salt.
say just do it slowly because you don't want to have any crumbs on them.
Oh, I'm
like
feeling
so
it.
see that is tough,
So I
right?
need to like really get in here.
Yeah, go with
You're
it.
doing,
Get at
yeah,
it,
there you go.
Yeah,
This is
there
business.
you go. Work out.
This is a business.
This is prepping
yeah.
you for what's about to happen next week with Thanksgiving.
There you go. Yeah, morning
Or this
exactly.
As we're
See,
airing
so
this. Okay.
my hands are clean. I usually actually do this with no gloves. You can do it with your hands.
I'm a little sick, so I'm glad to be doing it with
Sounds good. So you want to keep working it?
Okay. You're like, you are not there yet. You have not worked hard enough.
Exactly.
Okay, I really
And
got to
it's
get
almost
going.
ready.
There you go. You got that on there.
There
Okay.
you go.
So,
And then the little extra water that I have here, I want to save it for our hands. And this is the way it works. So it should be ready.
Okay.
It
gonna
looks
show us really
nice and smooth. I don't know where we are, but
Right
basically,
there.
there you go. So now what we're gonna do is you're gonna take a
Play-Doh
little bowl.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah, and you can go ahead and do
Let's
the
make 'em.
same.
Can I use my hands?
Yes, use your
Yeah,
hands.
totally.
I'm gonna use
Ooh,
my
I
hands too.
love the way it feels.
I'm gonna
Oh
do
my
this as well.
gosh.
A little bigger, exactly, maybe.
I'm gonna like get in a big
Exactly.
tub of it.
So
and
we're gonna
sit
get a
around.
big,
This is amazing.
and then you want to round it with your hands, and
make it nice and
that's
round,
what
look.
the water is for. You wanna. This
just
is like
did a little
working
one.
with clay, you know.
That's okay.
You just wanna like wet
So
your hands.
they are
Hey,
hungry and they
okay.
are ready to eat.
That
So
was
basically,
quick.
you put
Okay,
it
so here we
on,
go.
and is there any trick to
Tea
frying
party
it up?
size.
So basically now
bit of
we're gonna
oil.
just like keep
Oh,
wetting maybe your gloves.
Wet your
But
hands.
I'm rolling my
The
arm.
fun thing is you can do them round.
You guys can
I
make
like
these
to
too.
make them like
I
maybe
like
like this.
I like to make California
I
or
just
something
made a
like
baby
that.
one because that's all I got.
There you go.
Oh,
You can
you
do
could
a
do little
heart
hearts.
if you want.
We were talking about doing little hearts.
I don't even know if
Okay,
I'm that
so
creative.
what's in the
There you
ingredients?
go.
Oh, that's
You
cute.
got
Oh,
it.
that's kind of cute.
Now
So
put it
let's
over
talk
here.
about what we're
I'm
going to
making
put
a
inside
heart.
the filling.
Perfect.
So we're going to do some chicken.
We got to get to eating soon.
Yes, we do. So we're going to throw some
Yes.
chicken in a skillet.
That's me.
Correct.
I'm always looking
So
to
this
eat.
is one of the fillings. This is an alternative for lunch. So we're gonna use a little chicken.
Little chicken. We're
And
going to
then
saute it.
Exactly. And then also we're gonna add 3 tomatoes, cut it in dices.
Let's throw those
and
in
then
there.
also some yellow onion.
What do you have in
Love
front
yellow
there?
onion. That is the finished product.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then
That's
we're
what we're
gonna
gonna stuff.
It's got to cook way down.
It's going to cook it down, and what she does
We
is
got to
she puts
finish
honey in
this up.
here.
I am ready to eat.
So that's
I
it.
hate
Salt
to
and pepper. Here,
get this fast,
throw
but
some salt and pepper on there.
Yes.
we're gonna put
Got
up
it.
this
See
what,
that?
this
Yeah.
recipe.
What she does though is she adds honey to it, and it gives it a whole different texture. Wait till you try
Exactly.
this. It
And then
is
basically
phenomenal.
we can just open
A
it.
little salad on the side. Look.
Exactly. And then we're gonna open it.
And we're gonna eat.
And we're gonna eat. We're gonna fill it with the chicken.
See, it's kind of like, sort of like a pita
Well,
sort of thing.
as we're eating, I'm gonna
So
just
you slice it
finish
open.
this up
You slice
because
it
that's
open.
all
So you
we
gotta make
have
them
for the
thick enough
show.
to get-
We'd like to
Correct.
thank all of our
Well, you can do
sponsors
it
for
thin,
supporting
just-
us. Big thanks also to activist Kevin Lynn, marriage and family therapist Cheryl Aronson,
that.
Dana Michelle, president and founder of MarriageMaterial.com, and Lisa Derdarian with the Pasadena Fire Department, and Chef Amara, I'm calling you Chief already, Beretta from Chef Cafe Amara for joining us in studio.
Thank you. So here is the finished product.
Oh, that's
Salty
beautiful.
arepa,
Thank
as you can see.
Happy Thanksgiving to you all. This wasn't quite a Thanksgiving recipe.
And thank you for having me.
Oh, you were
It's really fun to
awesome.
be here.
This is a love fest here. We are so grateful for all of you being here and to all of you as well for watching us. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Crown City News is sponsored by Foothill Transit, San Gabriel Valley Economic Partnership, Pasadena Federal Credit Union, Senior Providers Network, Ability First, Beacon Media News, EH Financial, Ganal Lumber, Siren Arts Productions. You too can sponsor Crown City News. Call 626-344-8314 or email sponsors@crowncitynews.com. Thank you for your support of Crown City News.